Go ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to a night at the opera at the Clink Theatre. I have to thank Michael Kerr, President of the Douglas Theatre Arts Group, for coordinating and making such things possible. I'd also like to thank you all for coming along and helping support theatre, music and entertainment generally in the Douglas Shire. So at the end of the night, when you're clapping all of these wonderful people, you'll be able to clap yourselves as well. You've done a great job. Thank you for coming. Now, the format for tonight is I'm going to introduce the songs in batches, so I'm going to talk for a bit of a while, but then later on you won't be hearing my voice so much and you can concentrate on enjoying the music, which is really why you came here, I think. So just as a let you know what's just happened, that was the Libiamo or Brindisi from La Traviata, which was written by Giuseppe Verdi in 1853. Alfredo was sung by Adrian Strooper, and Violetta was sang by Catherine Knight, and the chorus was the ensemble from the Voices of the North. So in La Traviata, Violetta is a courtesan. She meets Alfredo during a soiree at Flora's salon, which you've just seen. Their love is subsequently denied by Alfredo's father, who has concerns for the marriage of his daughter. Fearing that Alfredo's affair will bring disrespect to the family, he pressures Violetta to deny Alfredo's advances. Violetta subsequently suffers from consumption. In her dying moments, Alfredo returns and she dies in his arms, knowing their love is true. So, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on the singers you're going to hear tonight, and then introduce you to the next few songs. So Adrian Strooper is a tenor, is an internationally acclaimed opera singer. Adrian has recently returned from Germany following his appointment to the Berlin Opera. Adrian has performed many roles in opera houses all over the world, including the United States, throughout Europe and Australia. And Adrian's also making his debut at the Clink Theatre. Catherine Knight, better known to us as Kathy, is a soprano. And she studied with the legendary Cairns teacher Sheila Knudsen and gained her Associate Diploma of Music for Voice from the Australian Musical Education Board. I think the medicines are going to help too much right now. So Kathy has also had lead roles. Well, hang on, let me go. An award-winning competitor, Kathy has also had lead roles in many local productions, including Maria in The Sound of Music, and as sister. Oh yeah, Amnesia. So Sean Cram, who's a tenor, has been a major contributor to the Douglas Theatre Arts Group for more than 10 years. Well known to northern audiences, Sean regularly performs with the Cairns Choral Society as well. Recent performances have included Fagin in Oliver, and of course Sean hosts the annual event Cram It on Broadway. So if you haven't been to one of them, make sure you come to the next one, because they are absolutely fantastic. Holly Dowell is a soprano. She started singing with Alteousie DeVaughn when she was just 6 years old. Holly was the winner of the Tiny Tots Award at the Cairns Junior Stedford. That was the first time she competed. Now, a mere 14 years old, Holly is pursuing her goal of becoming an opera singer. When you hear Holly singing, I'm sure that you agree that she's well on her way. Julia Brandt, another soprano, has been a mainstay of Cairns Choral Society productions for many years. Formerly the headmistress of Port Douglas State School, Julia is also well known to audiences at the Clink Theatre. So, we also have Małgorzata Winiewska, soprano. She studied voice in her native Poland. Recently arrived in Australia, Gorzha is continuing her studies in classical voice. Tonight, for her debut at the Clink, she'll be singing in the Czech language. Curtly Lee is another of our internationally recognised musicians. Curtly had the honour of being first violin in the orchestra for Luciano Pavarotti's world tour. Curtly is also a music teacher and educator, and her virtuoso solo performances continue to stun audiences. Also singing tonight we have Alteousie DeVaughn, a mezzo-soprano. She arrived in Port Douglas more than 10 years ago and found her people here at the Clink, and with the Cairns Choral Society. So Alteousie is very busy as a voice teacher, vocal coach and choir director. Alteousie is a California native, studied voice at the Juilliard School of Music in New York, and her career blossomed in Europe and looks forward to more international tours once conditions allow it. And finally, Gianfranco Filonzi, baritone, is also making his debut at the Clink Theatre. Only recently arrived in Cairns, Gianfranco is already fitting into our musical community. With more than 30 years' experience in musical theatre, Gianfranco is also very pleased to be able to take part in a night at the opera. So there are our artists for tonight. So now just a little bit of a background on what you're going to hear. So the next song is going to be Una furtiva lagrima, which is from an opera called L'Elixir d'Amore, which is the Elixir of Love, written by Gaetano Donizetti in 1832. And Nemorino, who is be the part played by Sean Cram. So Nemorino is a peasant. He loves Adina, a landowner. He purchases some elixir, really a bad wine, and in the ensuing confusion believes that a tear in Adina's eye is an indication of her love for him. Just a little bitty tear let me down. Uno poco fa is an aria from The Barber of Seville, written by Gioacchino Rossini in 1816. So these are early 19th century operas. So a character called Lindoro, who is really the Count Almaviva, disguised as a poor student, tries to gain the attention of Rosina. Her guardian, Bartolo, wants to marry her when she comes of age, so she's prevented from going out. Rosina decides to write a letter. As she writes, she sings about a voice a little while ago. Un voce poco fa, so sorry, and that Rosina will be sung by Holly Dowell. And then we have another very special treat. This aria is called Lève-toi Soleil. It's from Romeo and Juliet, the opera written by Charles Gounod in the later part of the 19th century, 1867. And for this, Romeo will be played by Adrian Strooper. So this follows the Shakespearean play very closely. Romeo is in Juliet's garden after meeting her briefly at a party. One of the most romantic moments in literature. This is the famous balcony scene. In English, the lyrics are, but soft. What light through yonder window breaks? Is it the east, and Juliet is the sun? Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief. Looking forward to his interpretation of that, I'm sure. And so, in this particular group of songs, you next hear Chi è il bel sogno di Doretta, from an opera called La Rondine, written by Giacomo Puccini in the early parts of the 20th century, 1917. And the character Magda will be sung by Julia Brandt. Getting all my vowels mixed up. So this is another opera built on disguise and misinterpretation. La Rondine is the story of Magda's love for a younger man. In this scene, Magda is entertaining her friends by improvising lyrics to a newly written song. And so now, could we please welcome Sean Cram with Una furtiva lagrima.
i palpiti per chiunque scor sentir i miei sospir confondere per poco rasoi sospir i palpiti sentir confondere i miei sospir cielo si può morire di più non quiero quiero si può morire di più non quiero así morir así morir
Lève-toi, soleil, fais pâlir les étoiles qui dans l'azur s'envolent, brille ton firmament.
Well, how are we going? These people will be great when they learn how to sing properly. Sort out my things. It's way too much information for me to remember, so I hope you excuse me reading it. I wish I could do this for the lines in the plays I've been in. So our next series of arias will take us through to intermission. First you're going to hear Meziku, which is Song to the Moon, from an opera called Rusulka, written by Antonin Dvořák in 1901. And Rusulka will be sang by Małgorzata Miniewska. So Rusulka is a water spirit who, like the little mermaid, falls in love with a mortal. She is granted her wish on the proviso that she too will become mortal. Her lover subsequently abandons her, and she returns to the water to live in eternal isolation. She becomes a dark spirit, luring people into her pond and drowning them. In this aria, Rusulka is sharing her feelings and wishes with the moon. Very nice. And then the following group of arias are from the opera Carmen. So that was written by Georges Bizet in 1875, and tonight Carmen will be sung by Alteousie DeVaughn. So Carmen is the world's most popular opera. When it was premiered in Paris, it was regarded as scandalous and performances were terminated. The opera gained popularity in the opera houses of Europe and the United States and continues to please audiences to the present day. Unfortunately, Bizet had passed away before his opera became popular, without ever knowing what a masterpiece he had created. Sad. The opera opens in the town square. The women from the cigarette factory come out for a break and beg Carmen to sing for them. While flirting with the men, Carmen sings the habanera. L'amour est un oiseau rebelle. Love is a rebellious bird. So, following that, we'll hear Catherine Knight, or Kathy, singing Michaela's part, the aria J'ai dit que rien ne m'a pauvin. So Carmen seduces a young soldier, Don José. In this scene, they have run off to the mountains. Michaela is betrothed to Don José, and she ventures into the mountain to find them. Night has fallen, and Michaela is trying to control her fear. She sings, I say that nothing frightens me. There's something that frightens me, and that's saying that in French. I hope there's any French speakers here that you don't beat me up too badly when we get out of here. And then it comes a musical piece. This is the Act 3 entr'acte from Carmen, and violin by Curtly Lee. This musical introduction to the third act of Carmen has become a favourite solo piece for violinists and orchestras. In fact, the music for Carmen has also been rearranged as an instrumental work titled The Carmen Suites. And finally, in this group of songs, we hear the Toreador song from Carmen, with Escamillo being sung by Gianfranco Filonzi. So this actually happens before Michaela goes up to the mountains. After a busy day, Carmen and her friends are in the bar relaxing. Escamillo, the famous Toreador, is about to enter, causing great excitement. He tries to attract Carmen's attention, but at this point, Carmen is not interested. She is pining for Don José. Following their sojourn in the mountains, Carmen returns to Sevilla to be with Escamillo. Don José intervenes, anguished by her betrayal and demented by passion, leading to the inevitable conclusion. So as I said, these arias will take us through to intermission, and we'll have a 20-minute break before the second act resumes. So please welcome to the stage our debuting artist, Małgorzata Wisniewska, or if you like.
incontrer, signor, signor, car avec les soldats. Oui, les toreros, mais vous entendre, pour plaisir, ils chantent les combats. Le cirque est plein de jours de fête, le cirque est plein de hauts en bas. Les spectateurs perdent la tête, les spectateurs s'en appellent à grand fracas. Apostrophe, cris et partage, tous ces choses qu'elle a la purée, alza secca del courage, c'est la fête, Jean de corps. Allons, en garde, allons, allons, toreador, en garde, toreador, toreador. J'en bien puissant de combattant, à une voix des regards, et que l'amour t'attend, toreador, l'amour, l'amour t'attend. Toreador, on fait silence, à casser passati. Oui, le torero, elle vous s'entendre, pour plaisir, les gens les combattent. Le cirque est plein de jours de fête, le cirque est plein de hauts en bas. Ah, bravo toro, pour la foule, attrape encore a sequenze bandarile, le chicanes pleines de sang, c'est son tour à bandarile, alle jours à condition. Allons, encore, allons, allons. Rangade, toreador, toreador. J'en bien puissant de combattant, à une voix qui regarde, et que l'amour t'attend, toreador, l'amour, l'amour t'attend. Toreador, rangade.
like most every other plot that you've heard tonight before and later, makes no sense. But as long as we've got a little bit of drama, murder, mayhem, and that's just before the audience sits down. Thais, as I said, is an Egyptian goddess. She knows her powers, and she knows she's got them. The only problem is she's betrothed to be married, and she's supposed to be chaste for her wedding. But Thais, well, she kind of gets around, you know, on the camera. So they don't know what to do. They're just, you know, so they're having a little get together, as one does, near the pyramids, I suppose, sphinxing along. And they're thinking, what are we going to do with this wanton woman? What are we going to do? Nobody can convert her. And how are they going to erase the record before her betrothed is allowed to marry her? So word of this becomes legendary. Far and wide goes the story, until in the farthest lands, far away, farther than even Mossman, we get the word. Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? We get the word. There is a monk, and of course, like all good monks, he knows what to do. He's devout, he's a man of the cloth. He will be the one to solve this. So, I suppose he gets on a camel too, doesn't he? Or how does he do it with his, you know, monk's robes? I'm not sure. But anyway, across he goes, across hill, across dale. Days it takes him, weeks. Remember, we are coming from Mossman. So it takes him a long time. He gets finally to this Egyptian wonderland. And he sets eyes on Thais. What did I say about operas? Does he convert Thais? No. Or does he ask for her hand in marriage and stand down from his monkdom? That's exactly what happens. So there's a very good reason that Thais is not performed very much, but one thing has stood the test of time, and that is that the most famous thing to come out of Thais is the meditation from Thais, which opens the second act and, shall we say, consummates the love between the monk and his Egyptian goddess. I don't walk like an Egyptian, I play like one.
I think you'll agree with me when I say that was beautiful. Thank you. This is one of the things about opera, that it brings together the work of outstanding composers. It requires very, very highly trained and capable singers to deliver the vocal work, but it also depends on an orchestra that's capable of interpreting the music and bringing what was in the composer's head to your ears.
Yes.
Included in that, of course, is costumes, sets, props, and so in opera everything is done to the max, you might say, but it is a showcase of amazing talents that are all brought together to produce the overall effect. And we're really sorry that we can't gather together enough musicians who are capable of doing justice to these works. But tonight at least we have one person in our orchestra. I hope that that touch of live music brings some of these things home to you a little bit more passionately. So we'll move on now to the first part of Act 2, and that means me reading some more of this stuff to you. But I hope that this little bit of background that I give you helps you understand what's happening on stage, and that you learn to appreciate it more that way. Okay, so coming up next is Must the Winter Come So Soon, an aria from Vanessa, written by Samuel Barber. This is a modern opera in the sense it was written in 1958. And Vanessa's part will be sung by Alteousie DeVaughn. We're starting off on a good note. So this modern 20th century opera by the famous American composer Samuel Barber, Vanessa. Vanessa lives in a lonely house with her daughter. Abandoned by her lover, she boarded up the windows and removed all mirrors so she could not see herself age. The son of the lover comes to visit and she believes it is him. The visitor seduces Vanessa's daughter, who becomes pregnant. Last night I said he banged her up. I haven't written those notes. It's like, how do I say she's up the duff? And then I realised maybe, no. A little boy was writing this story about a fireman who was pregnant. And the teacher said, do you know what pregnant means? And he says, yeah, it means carrying a child. Sorry, this is opera. Be more serious. Anyway, so this is what happens. Vanessa seduces her lover's son and runs away with him, and then the daughter goes out into the snow believing that if she freezes herself she will be able to terminate the pregnancy. And then when she comes back to the house she boards it up, and boards up the windows and covers up the mirrors. So you get this sort of cyclic story going. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, Alteousie will be singing in English. So the next song comes from another American opera, but this one had a very different kind of origin. Steal Me, Sweet Thief is an aria from The Old Maid and the Thief, written by Giancarlo Menotti. He's an American Italian. And on this particular occasion, the character Letitia will be played by Kathy Knight. So this opera was first written for radio, first of its kind. And it was presented or premiered on a syndicated radio network in 1939. The popularity of the show made it so people wanted to see it as a stage act, so it was rewritten and presented in 1941 on stage. So this it tells the story of a boarding house manager, Miss Todd, who is the old maid, and her tenant, who is believed to be a thief. So he's also doted upon by the housekeeper, Letitia. All right, and that would be followed by O Mio Babino Caro from the opera Gianni Schicchi by Giacomo Puccini. This one's early 20th century as well, as written in 1918, and the part of Lauretta will be sung by Holly Dowell. So opera comedies are generally referred to as opera buffo. In this comic work we learn the story of Gianni Schicchi, who is requested by a family to pretend to be their grandfather. The old man had written a very unfavourable will. They want Gianni Schicchi to pretend to be him on his deathbed so that a notary can write out a new and more favourable will. As they can't intervene in front of the notary, Gianni Schicchi dictates a will that favours himself and reduces the family to poverty. His daughter, Lauretta, is in love with the now dispossessed suitor and begs her father to allow her to marry him. In fact, the lyrics of this song is, "If I don't get the ring, I'm going to jump off the bridge into the river." It's a very convincing argument. I think when my daughter had said that to me, I might have said, "Go jump." Oh, nasty old man. And so then the next set of songs will be completed with C'è Gilda Manina from La Bohème. This is written by Giacomo Puccini as well in 1896, and the aria is sung by Rodolfo, who will be tonight. That's Adrian Strooper. So this is another classic opera. La Bohème follows the love and life of some poor artists in Paris. Mimi calls on her neighbour to get a cup of sugar. She meets Rodolfo. As she is leaving, the candle blows out and she drops her keys. While searching for the keys, Rodolfo and Mimi's hands touch. He remarks on how cold they are. So please, welcome to the stage, Alteousie DeVaughn as Suchena.
Oh,
Miss Todd's house. A week later, we find Letitia in the kitchen, taking great pains to mend and press a pair of well-worn trousers. Yes, Bob's, of course.
What a kiss for a woman is a timid man. A week has gone by, he had plenty of chances, but he made no advances. Miss Todd schemes and labors to get him some money. She robs friends and neighbors, the club and the church. He takes all the money with a smile that
che gelida manina, se la lasci riscaldar, cercar che giova, al voglia non si trova. Ma per fortuna è una notte di luna, e qui la luna l'abbiamo vicina. Aspetti, signorina, le dirò con due parole. Chissà che faccio come vivo. Chi son? Sono poeta, che cosa faccio? Scrivo, e come vivo? Vivo! In povertà mia lieta, alla gran signore, rimediti d'amore per sogni e per chimere e per castelli in aria. L'anima mia n'aria. Guarda il mio quartiere, ruba tutti i gioielli, due ladri e gli occhi belli. D'entrar con voi pur ora nei miei sogni osati, nei miei sogni miei, tosto sì, lei al buio non ancora, poiché va preso stanza la speranza. Orche mi conoscete, parlate voi, e parlate chi siete. Ti
It's nice to have someone like Adrian sing you a song. So we continue on in a few minutes with another aria from La Bohème. This one is sung by the character Musetta, who's played by Julia Brand. In this scene, Musetta and the other Bohemians are in a cafe. Musetta is bored with her companion, an older man, and seeks a more refreshing and romantic liaison. And following that, we really will have Alteousie DeVaughn as Azucena, singing Stride la Vampa from Il Trovatore, a Giuseppe Verdi opera written in 1853. The mid-1800s, like from 49 to 55 or something, Verdi referred to as his galley years because he felt like he was an oarsman in a Roman galley. He wrote 3 operas and a mass simultaneously over a period of 4 years. He had to fulfill contracts in Rome and in Naples, and so he wrote them all together. Amazing. Il Trovatore is the story of a troubadour in another of Verdi's masterpieces. So Azucena's son, Manrico, is involved in a duel with the new count, but cannot bring himself to kill him. He can't understand it. Azucena explains her mother was burnt at the stake by the old count. In retaliation, she kidnaps one of the count's sons. You have to be very careful sometimes when you say these things. So in retaliation, she kidnaps one of the count's sons, intending to throw him on the fire. So listen carefully now. So she intends to throw this baby on the ashes of her mother's pyre. In her grief, blinded by tears, she throws her own son on the fire. That's why she looks a little bit sad when she's telling this story. And of course, Manrico is actually the Count's brother. So following that, something a little bit lighter, although just as threatening. Qual fiamma avere nel guardo. This is an aria from Pagliacci, written by Ruggero Leoncavallo in 1892. And the song is sung by the character Nedda, who tonight is Kathy Knight. So Pagliacci is a tragic clown. He's the guardian of a young woman whom he marries. She is subsequently unfaithful. And this aria is sung in fear that he will find out and kill Nedda and her suitor. Then we move on, and with the blessed voice of Adrian Strooper, we have Un'aura amorosa from Così van tutte, written by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in 1790. So it's only a couple of hundred years old, so you know, people have had plenty of time to learn how to sing this one. Anyway, following the theme in Shakespearean humour, in Così van tutte, 2 men are challenged to prove their respective fiancés' love. They are encouraged to disguise themselves and try seducing each other's betrothed. In this aria, Fernando is extolling the virtue of love. Un'aura amorosa is like the aura of love. And then we will be finishing off this particular portion of the show with Va Pensiero from Nabucco, written by Giuseppe Verdi in 1842. Generally referred to as the chorus of the Hebrew slaves. This part will be played by the ensemble from Voices of the North. One of Verdi's most popular works, Nabucco tells a fanciful tale of King Nebuchadnezzar's invasion of Babylon. The Hebrews are exiled to north of the Euphrates River. Tired, hungry, and overworked, the slaves wish that they could fly on golden wings back to their homes. Many consider this beautiful melody to be the unofficial Italian national anthem. When Verdi died in 1901, as his body was being taken to the cemetery, well-wishers lined the road singing this song as his coffin passed by. So now, I'd like to refresh my memory of what I'm doing again. So we're going to welcome Julia Brandt as musette to the stage for Quando Menvo.
Gli occhi abbassai, per te ma che le
We've come to a very important part of the night. It's not musical, but it's good to hear. I presume that many of you have a program, and if you haven't, there must be some still left out there to get on your way out. We're up to the back page. So we need to give acknowledgement to our helpers and sponsors, particularly, once again, our Mayor, Michael Kerr. If it wasn't for Michael Kerr, we would not have musicals. Our nights at the opera would probably be a lot more difficult to put on. So he's been an excellent leader, guide, and participant in all of our activities. We'd also like to thank Victoria Nolasco, who's in the choir and our new resident in the Douglas Shire. She has a business called Offshore Advantage. If you're interested in any software or information technology activity, offshoreadvantage.com. We also need to give thanks to Salsa Bar and Grill, who've been very generous in providing us with gifts for our performers. As we do Frank D'Angelico from the Wine Tradition NQ. Frank's an enormous supporter of arts, and I'd like to put in a little plug. Frank is also, not only is he a brilliant singer, but he's also a great actor. And he is performing in a play coming up very soon at the Centre of Performing Arts in Cairns. La Bella Figura. Thank you. All right, so that's an examination of migrant culture in Australia. And Frank plays the part of his mother. And he's just so brilliant. So if you could get to see La Bella Figura. Grazie mille. We'd also like to thank Floral Edge, as you're going to see some of their beautiful work in a few minutes. And also, some of our props were built by John Brown, Julia's husband, who is an excellent wood turner and a craftsman, a timber craftsman. So if you're wandering around the Coranda markets or the Yungaburra markets and you see some extraordinary woodwork, thank John for providing us with these lovely little tables that he made. And so, if we're all good to go.
quick. Oh, Fredo, it's me, Chippy. Feel it, aren't you sick? I'm told that my place is backstage, but no! I'm glad prima donna's back. Cast it even now.
Ancora
non dite che l'ignora
il mio destino